Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a test with the PDX12. Now this is Winchester's line, very similar to their PDX1 lineup for pistols. This is their defense lineup for shotguns. This one is the buck and ball combination. They also have a segmenting slug combination, which I'm not really a fan of. I like the whole slug. I like it just to expand instead of split into pieces. But anyways, there's 3 copper-plated buckshot in here and 1 ounce slug in here. So we're going to do a little bit of a test today to see how the pattern goes. And for me, I like this load a lot, so I'm just going to have fun shooting it a bit. Excellent. As you can see, the PDX12 is probably my favorite shotgun round other than a straight up slug, and that's because you get the benefits of having buckshot and a slug. So you get hit with multiple projectiles, but you get hit with the most lethal one, a slug, as well. And buckshot doing what buckshot does. I mean, full lead will typically, expand and not go as deep as a lot of people would like to think, but for the most part, I like this combination. This is sort of a combination that was used in the Civil War, and what they would do is they would load a ball, and then they would load little pellets as well. And this is sort of like a modern day version of that. You have a 1 ounce slug and 3 copper plated buckshot. Now, this isn't really going that fast. It's maybe going 1,200 feet per second, maybe. And so you have 3 buckshot double-aught buck pellets. That's 32 caliber. So it's really not going to do that much. It's only 3 of them. But if you're pretty close, the pattern will stay pretty tight, and we're going to go ahead and demonstrate that. Okay, so we're going to do a pattern test with the PDX12. Now, I'm going to do it from a range of about 10 feet or so. It's not going to be too far away. I mean, this is for like home defense distances, so the longest room is probably going to be 15 feet, 20 feet or so. But I'm going to go ahead and test it on this. As you can see, it's not really too big. It's maybe about the size of an 8x11 sheet of paper, but we're going to go ahead and staple it up to this tire and use that as my target. So let's go ahead and see how it does. Well, kind of interesting. As you can see here, it's quite a scatter. I mean, you have probably the wadding right here, then the buck, pellet, and then other stuff. You know what? Let's give this another go. Well, pretty much the same results. Your little pellets and your slug. I mean, it's grouping pretty consistently. It's got a triangular pattern around the slug, but let's go ahead and get another sheet out here, and we'll try this again. Kind of a little odd here. We have we have some wadding right here. Slug, probably some more wadding right here. Buck, and then buck. This was really close to the slug. Let's try it again. We got room. Okay, so the pattern is, you're seeing a lot of disruption, I guess you could say, of the pattern, because you've got it looks like the buffer's doing what it's supposed to do, and it's trying to keep the pattern nice and tight and triangular, and it's evenly distributing the pellets in a triangular pattern around it. Some go further than others, some are closer than others, and we're seeing that. And the matter that's keeping it all together is called Grex. I guess it is, but we're also seeing the effects of I don't want to say the buffer, but the wad. We're seeing the wad going in and actually doing a little bit of damage, but you saw the piece of wad that was not really sticking out. Now I'm shooting a little bit further. I'm shooting about 15 feet now, and you can see the pattern's not really opening up much. I mean, with these 2 shots, and I'm aiming in different directions trying to get different patterns, you can see it's not really opening up much. It's staying pretty tight, so I'm pretty impressed so far. So I got this mutilated piece of cardboard here. I'm going to try to hit in here, in this little flap right here. I think we can do it. Okay, so we did it. Now, what you can see is this is smaller than a hand, and I shot from a little bit under 15 feet. So well, actually, no, a little over 15 feet, sorry. So I shot from about 7 yards, from about a 7-yard distance from my measurements. So this is a pretty good pattern, actually. Now, you can typically find this kind of pattern with buckshot even. So when you're shooting a shotgun, you're not spraying a wall at close distance. You're almost shooting a rifle at that point. So there you go. So what I'm proposing is we try this again. See if we can keep it in this flap. Do a couple of shots. Okay, there you have it. Now I stacked the slug so you could sort of see a little bit of a deviation. I put the sight right on top of the other slug. So as you can see here, it's kind of hurting a little bit. But what you're seeing is 3, 6, and then 8, and I'm sure the other one's in here somewhere. But I'm not seeing a hit anywhere else. So you have some wadding right here. You have, yeah, it's basically compressed paper wadding right here between the actual powder and the shot itself. If you look really closely, you might actually see some of the imprint from the Grex. Like here, you can see a little bit of gray spray. That would be the Grex. It's like tiny little sand granulate that basically keeps the pattern together. It's just basically matter, light matter, just to keep everything in place so it doesn't scatter. It's something that the pellets have to fight through, the buck has to fight through in order to spread out. So I don't know, I think the results speak for themselves. I mean, this is, you know, wadding right here, but I don't know, and you got a piece of wadding hit right here, so I think it did pretty good considering. I mean, that's pretty good for being over 15 feet, about 7 yards. One thing that I really do like about this round is it doesn't actually recoil that much compared to some other hot loads for double-aught buck or some more extreme loads for slugs. So it actually seems to be a very light recoiling load, considering the fact that it's supposed to be a personal defense load. So that, I highly recommend the round. It seems to do pretty good. What are your thoughts? Smoking.